Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Petty Officer Jason Williams. We warmly welcome the family of Private Bert Arthur Thompson, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Bert Arthur Thompson. Born Bertie Arthur Thompson in 1890, Bert Thompson was the fourth of 6 children born to John and Sarah Thompson. Known as Mickey, he attended school at Croydon and went on to work as a brickmaker at the Croydon Brickworks. Mick Thompson enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in January 1915. He underwent a period of training in Australia before leaving for active service overseas on board the troop ship Hororata in April. Posted to reinforcements to the 2nd Battalion, after a short period of training in the Egyptian desert, he joined his battalion on the Gallipoli Peninsula on the 22nd of June 1915. 6 weeks after arriving on Gallipoli, Private Thompson began preparing for an attack. Bayonets were sharpened by the armourer, and the men sewed white bands on each sleeve and a white patch in the centre of the back, so that during the fight they could identify each other. At 5:30 p.m. on the 6th of August 1915, 3 short whistle blasts were repeated along the line, the signal for the infantry to launch the attack on Lone Pine. The men leapt out of their trenches and ran towards Turkish positions under fire. Sections of Turkish trenches had been roofed over by pine logs, and in some cases they had to break through the roof in order to come to grips with the enemy. Although the main Turkish trench was captured within 20 minutes, fierce hand-to-hand fighting continued for days in cramped, dusty, and partially covered trenches. In one of the few successes of the Gallipoli campaign, Lone Pine was successfully captured and held by the Australians. However, the cost of the operation was some 2,000 Australian casualties. It took some time to reorganise the attacking battalions, and uncovering their fate of some took even longer. Private Bert Thompson was reported missing in action on the 14th of August 1915. Military authorities conducted an investigation into his fate, eventually determining that he had been killed in action at some point between the 6th and 9th of August 1915. Bert's family had already been unofficially informed that he had been killed at Lone Pine by a family friend serving on Gallipoli. Bert Thompson's family and close friends put notices in the newspaper in his memory. His parents wrote, "Dearly beloved son of Mr. and Mrs. J. Thompson. He has fought the good fight." Today, Private Bert Thompson is commemorated on a special memorial in the Lone Pine Cemetery at Anzac Cove. His headstone reads, "In loving memory of our dear son and brother, from his mother." He was 25 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour to my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Bert Arthur Thompson, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere, or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We'd like to thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.